Hello, we are soldiers and paramedics in the Alpha 2 company in the International Legion for the Defense of Ukraine. We ask for your collaboration for a closed vehicle of quick evacuation since we do not have one at the moment. Because of this, we have unfortunately lost people and wounded people uh, which shouldn't have been in danger. We appreciate your collaboration. Slava Ukraine!
Heroes Slava!
So, welcome to the stream again. I swear it would not be one of my streams without a mic failure. Just saying welcome to the stream, everybody. The second company of the International Legion, raising a truck for them with cars for Ukraine. Currently, let me just hit refresh here. We are at 285 euros raised. I'm safe from having to eat some horseradish for now. Robert, thank you for your donation. Thank me for my donation. Mitch, thank you for your donation. Michael, thank you for your donation. I am sincerely thankful for everybody that helps Ukraine and in this fundraiser. Altogether, we are at 59,563 euros out of $150,000 or euro goal. I also want to take a minute to apologize for being late. I am sincerely sorry. I'm having a bit of a stomach bug, and it decided to hit right when I was getting ready to start the stream. Thankfully, it didn't hit while I was streaming. So again, I apologize for being late. Getting right into it. Operational information as of 8 a.m. December 16th regarding the Russian invasion. And as always, they start with glory to Ukraine. It is the 1027th day of the Russian large-scale armed aggression against Ukraine. In total, 228 combat clashes were recorded yesterday. The enemy launched one missile strike with 2 missiles, 36 airstrikes with 65 bombs. In addition, it carried out more than 4,000 artillery strikes, with 170 of those strikes being from MLRSs. The aggressor carried out airstrikes in particular in the areas of the settlements of Shropny, Barakivka, Servisk, Krymsky, Druzhba, Katrinivka, Toretsk, Mykolaievka, Alexandropol, Zelený Pol, Pierobrazhanka, Mala Tokmaka, Velika Novosilka. Over the past day, missile troops and artillery of the defense forces hit 4 areas of concentration of personnel, weapons, and military equipment. In addition, one other important object of the invaders was hit. And we're moving on into the Kharkiv direction. The enemy stormed the positions of our troops 10 times in the areas of the settlements of Vysoka Yarga, Turkey, and Voschansk. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Moving to Kharkiv is down here. Voschansk and Taiki. I believe that's pronounced Taiki. And an area we don't get to hear about very often, but we have to keep an eye on. Vysoka Yara and Kozachi Lopan is another area Russia wants to try to invade, get this roadway that leads to Kharkiv, and open up a third line of assaults towards Kharkiv in this area. So that was the 10 assaults today. Velika Yora, Voschansk, and Tuki. Moving on to the Kupiansk direction. 4 attacks by the invaders took place during the day. The defense forces repelled enemy assault actions near Zarova and Lozova. Just because the other areas are starting to heat up, we'll just do it was not Ukraine repelled the Russian advances in this area along the Oskil River, pushing them back. This was 2 days ago. The Russians had control of this. So we're starting to see some Ukrainian advances happening here and up here by Novomolynsk, where the Russians crossed the river. Russia's trying to move across the river here by Zapadny. I'm hoping in the future there's a similar response in that area. Of course, Zarova and Lozova are the only areas of attack by the Russians in the last day. Moving on to the Liman direction, the enemy attacked 20 times, tried to penetrate our defenses near Novo-Ihorova, Harivka, Terny. Oh, that one's a tough one. Tverdohiblove, and Nadia. Mark that. Novo-Ihorova, Harivka, Terny. I'm not seeing those other ones on the map. So it's hard to get the correct pronunciation because Google Translate does not put the correct lettering there to be able to pronounce them with any kind of accuracy. So this is the Liman direction. Izium's back here. What 20 attacks in this area in the last 24 hours. In the Service direction, yesterday there was 55 attacks in this area. The day before that, there wasn't any, and I think like the last attack in the Service area was almost a week before yesterday. And here we are, 55 attacks one day. 34 clashes took place yesterday near Bilogorivka, Vrknokyamensky, Ivano Darika, and Vamika. Bilohorivka, Vrknokyamensky, Ivano Darivka. There's a little tiny wording here. And Vamika. I'm not sure which is the correct pronunciation, but again, 34 attacks along this front today, yesterday. In the get out. There we go. I'm going to combine Kramatorsk and Toretsk. In Kramatorsk, occupiers attacked 4 times in the other areas of Chasov Yar and Stupochny. In the Tourette's direction, the enemy, with support of aviation, carried out 12 attacks near Touretsk and Syribianka. Coming over to Kramatorsk direction, Chasiv Yar and Stupochki. No advances were made in this area. I'm thinking this is a map error because I don't think Russians control this. This is Ukrainian controlled. But going directly south from Chasiv Yar, we come into Touretsk and Syribianki. And again, no major changes in the lines today. Of course, in Touretsk itself, it's house to house, sometimes even room to room fighting. And it's very hard to keep accurate information of who's where and what's what. So this is just a general guideline. Don't take any map as the gospel. The Russians are in that house of this street. It's all guesswork. It's information changes every half hour, if not more. So yeah, this is just a guideline. Don't take it as the gospel of where Russians have advanced or been repelled or what have you. Mistakes are made, things change, war happens. In Pokrovsk direction, our defenders stopped 32 assaults and offensive actions of the aggressor near the settlements of, again, the same towns over and over again: Mirolubivka, Promin, Lysivka, Dashneshny, Zeleny, Pishkanti, and Novoolinka. Moving over towards Pokrovsk, Mirolubivka, Promin, Lysivka, Dashchenky, Pishkansky. Zervachenko is almost entirely controlled by Russia at the moment. Unfortunately, it is one of the last major defenses until you get into Pokrovsk and its connected villages. You see there's like 4 different villages, 5 different villages here, but they're all interconnected with Pokrovsk. It's not going to be a situation where Russia goes in and captures Pokrovsk in a week. It's going to be heavy fighting. It's going to be nasty, door to door, room to room fighting, just like it is in Touretsk. I wish it would be different, but unfortunately, that is where the war's at. Russia has far superior numbers. Ukrainians have far superior equipment, but that only makes up for so much. Unfortunately, there are several advances in this area every day. The guys are doing their best, and sometimes they have to give up ground to save their lives. Sometimes they don't get the second half of that accomplished either. So thoughts and prayers out to these guys all across the whole front, not just in Pokrovsk. In the Kharkiv direction, defense forces repelled 32 attacks. The invaders tried to advance in the areas of Staroturny, Sansivka, Zora, Korakova, and Upensivka. Moving down, Zora, Sansivka, Staroturny, Dachny, Korakova, and Upensivka. Hanivka, Romanivka is all under Russian control now. The pocket has been sealed by Russia, unfortunately. There are rumors, but no solid reports of what happened with the withdrawal from the pocket. I'm guessing it's going to be 24 to 48 hours from now that we actually hear reports of what happened in that area. You know, it is sensitive information, and Ukrainian military does not want to release it until it's no longer operational information. Again, Russia is making advances every day, and it's just meat waves after meat waves, unfortunately. Moving on to the Vermis direction, the enemy carried out 35 assaults on our positions in the areas of Sukovyaly, Rozhny, Zelenivka, Konstantinopolsky. Yeah, the end of that is just tough. It just doesn't seem to fit together. Trudrov, Novokumar, Novoselka, and Makarivka. It actively used assault and bomber aircraft to strike in this direction. And it is a hard battle going on in this area. Of course, Trudrov, Konstantinopolsky, Sukovyaly, Zelenivka, Rozhivly, Novokumar, Novosivka, Vernika, and Makarivka. Pretty much the entire half of the front line, all the assaults are spread out throughout this area. Okay, I'm gonna have to take some time to catch up with chat because I'm catching like a reply here and there, and it's like I don't know what you guys are talking about. In the Dnipro direction, the Russian invaders tried 5 times to displace our units from their positions. They received a tough rebuff, suffered losses. Generally, that whole area is along this river here, which means no actions in Orahiv or Huliopol. But they don't give us towns to narrow down where the assaults are, so in general, we just assume they're happening somewhere in this river delta. In the Volyn and, Poland direction, enemy, no signs of formations of enemy offensive groups were detected. On the border with Chernihiv and Sumy regions, enemy from the territory of Russian Federation uses artillery and strike UAVs on Ukrainian settlements. The operation in Kursk is ongoing. Over the past day, Ukrainian defenders have repelled 38 enemy attacks in the direction. Enemy aviation continues to strike with guided bombs on its territory. Currently, 5 airstrikes using 5 bombs are known. Our soldiers are inflicting significant losses in manpower on the occupation forces' equipment and actively undermining the enemy's offensive potential in the rear. Goes into the losses for the last day. We'll go into that with the graphic. And they end with, join the defense forces. Together we will win. Glory to Ukraine. And of course, in the Ukrainian, Razom de Переможемо, Slava Ukraina. Moving on to the graphic. Discord didn't open up, so I'll have to hold off on that for a second. My computer decided it needed to restart, install updates. So, while that is happening, grab my mind is blanking. There we go. Zelensky speech. We'll watch that while Discord does its thing and starting up.
Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці, українки. Коротко про сьогодні. Доповідь головкома Сирського і по ситуації на фронті.
No,
Особливо Донеччина.
Zelensky's
Найбільша
not
увага
that.
напрямкам саме там. А також по ситуації в районах Курської
Alvin and
операції.
Chipmunks. Let me slow that
Головком.
down and restart
Бажаю
it.
здоров'я, шановні українці, українки. Коротко про сьогодні. Доповідь головкома Сирського і по ситуації на фронті. Особливо Донеччина. Найбільша увага напрямкам саме там. А також по ситуації в районах Курської операції. Головком доповів щодо участі північнокорейських солдатів в боях на боці російської армії. Є багато деталей і щодо знищення цих сил. За попередніми даними, росіяни намагаються приховати втрати північнокорейців. Сили оборони України та наша розвідка з'ясовують повну інформацію щодо реальних втрат російських підрозділів, до яких залучені ще й корейці. На жаль, доводиться обороняти ще й від них, хоча жодної причини немає, щоб ще й корейці гинули в цій війні. Єдина причина – це божевілля Путіна, яке охопило Росію і підживлює цю війну. Будемо і надалі захищати наші позиції. Сьогодні є важливий 15-й пакет санкцій ЄС і вдячний партнерам за цю підтримку примусу Росії до миру. Серед іншого, є санкції проти тіньового танкерного флоту, який Росія використовує, щоб фінансувати агресію. І це зараз важливий крок. І всі російські танкери, всі компанії та фізичні особи, які допомагають Росії фінансувати війну, щоб всі вони були зрештою санкціоновані. Треба продовжувати цей тиск на Росію і не давати їм адаптуватись до санкцій. Чим важче будуть санкції для Росії, тим швидше вони зайдуть в реальну і справжню дипломатію. Сьогодні була також доповідь глави уряду щодо співпраці з нашими партнерами, зокрема фінансової співпраці. Прем'єр-міністр доповів, що 20 мільярдів доларів коштів від заморожених російських активів вже у Світовому банку на рахунку. Також окремо проговорили роботу з Європейським банком реконструкції та розвитку. Є конкретні програми, і в наступному році ми зможемо додати додатковий об'єм енергії завдяки тільки цим програмам з ЄБРР. Є також і додаткові кошти на програми енергоефективності. Дуже важливо все реалізувати якнайшвидше. І ще одне. Поступово погоджуємо з нашими дипломатами нові призначення послів України та заміни в дипломатичному корпусі. Ми готуємо посилення нашої команди України. Зовнішньополітична робота наступного року буде ще більш напруженою, ніж цьогоріч, і має бути сильною. Наступний рік повинен стати часом встановлення миру, надійного миру. Я вдячний всім партнерам, які допомагають. Сильна і скоординована робота – це найважливіше. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Бажаю здоров'я, шановні.
So I got the graphic here, but I'm going to put the graphic up and take some time to read through chat. David N., you keep doing that, I'll make you a mod. Neutral observers. Well, let me start from the top and welcome everybody to start with. I forgot to do that. So again, I apologize. My day has just been totally off today. So Adam Rounds in the chat, Mark Sagamon, Blonde Bombsheller, Niels, Richard, M35, Canty Ludin. Oh wait, that's me. General Consensus, Welcome to the stream, everybody. Pyro Kurt, good to see you here. McPigeon, welcome. No such, their birds don't exist. Shelly Winters, hello. Yeah, I'll explain the not feeling good in a second. David N saying, I'm a mod. Keep it up. I'll make you one and you'll have to do mod stuff. Jägermeister, I enjoy your drinks. Mostly just everybody saying hi to everybody. Aussie T. KKGG, good to see you. Siri Mar. Good to see you, sir. Hey. Let's see. Yeah, talking about the lack of sleep. Beer o'clock. I don't do beer. I do apple cider, hard apple cider, or the hard stuff. Beer, it's rare to find a beer that I like, that tastes good. Ludin chapter 4, verse 8, together we will be victorious. Yes, razom de peramojimo. Yeah, there has been failings in building up of fortifications, but it's also been partly due to lack of equipment to dig those fortifications. Most of those fortifications that Ukraine has done have been hand dug. And I'm sorry, that just takes time. And like you see the Russians with digging machines that just drive along and put zigzags in the earth. And Ukraine had very few of those. That's one of the equipment that was pushed into Ukraine in the early part of the war and Ukraine has been doing much better with the fortifications because of that. Again, general consensus says Ukrainians built strong defenses in Sumy and Zaporizhia, but failed to do the same in Donetsk and Kharkiv Oblast. You don't understand why? Well, here's why. Because those equipment came into Kyiv, they sent some south, and as soon as a commander received it, they didn't pass it along. They used them to build up their defenses. So it slowly worked around and kind of is just now getting towards the middle. It's unfortunately the Soviet mentality in the army still that caused that situation. Thankfully, it is improving. I don't think a Veroniki would hold up to 40 lashes. It's not a very structural food. No dirty chicken. Sweet and sour chicken with fried rice. You'd have me there. Roman showed the sabbatical video on a live stream today. He got a lot of views for his first ever. Well, it's not his first ever live. He was very active in social media. In the first part of the war, right after his injury, he got burnt out on the social media thing and is just now coming back to it. I'm glad to have Roman Troy Himetz back in the social media sphere. He is a great person, and getting the word out, he does a wonderful job. Definite man crush on the guy. He's a great person. KKGC, I was in the middle of watching Roman's reaction to sabbatical. Well, good thing I was late for starting my stream then. Yeah, that's general consensus says the Russian command wants their forces to cross the Dnieper River and take the right bank. Yeah, it would be the right bank down there. But take the right bank in preparation for the upcoming negotiations. But the troops know it's suicide mission and they refuse. Yeah, there's a lot of videos out there of Russians being executed by their own troops. Unfortunately, I can't show those because they are all very graphic. Yeah, Madiar showed a video with the North Koreans making snow angels. I showed a bit of that yesterday, as much as I could before it got too detailed. Oh yeah, the journalist in the torture bunker. I believe that was from Bucha. Was one of them. Oh man, you guys are talkative tonight. I wouldn't say it's a failing of Ukrainian government that they haven't been able to build the fortifications like the Russians. The Russians aren't going out there and digging minefields. They have artillery weapons and missiles that are loaded with mines. And to make a minefield, they just fire a missile and they drop out of the missile, and there's your minefield. Ukraine was not supplied with mine-laying weapons until like the last 2 or 3 months. Maybe even later, because that's when it was announced. So if there was a lag in getting it there, they may have only had them for a month now. That's our failing. That's our failing to Ukraine. We failed Ukraine in so many ways. And you can't really blame Zelensky or the Ukrainian government because it's us that's not giving them what they need. Even though we promised to protect and respect their borders in the Budapest Memorandum. And here it is, one of those people that signed the Budapest Memorandum is the one invading them. Getting the losses for today. Total combat losses of the enemy. December 16th, 1027th day of the full-scale invasion. 1,070 personnel killed or wounded today. 12 tanks, 29 armored personnel vehicles, 23 artillery systems, 16 UAVs, 82 vehicles, and 2 special equipment. Well, the numbers are starting to drop off as the cold sets in. That's a good thing in a couple ways. Hopefully that means the number of assaults are going down, obviously, because 228 assaults today and go to yesterday, 292. So a significant drop in the number of assaults just in one day. So obviously less assaults, less losses. I'm hoping we see those assault number. I'm hoping we see the number of assaults drop below 200 in the coming days. You know, give the troops a bit of a breather, hopefully, and a chance to switch from defense to assault and hopefully take back some of the ground that Russia has captured. Did Zelensky speech, did the room, caught up with chat. And doing the fundraiser for Cars for Ukraine. Still at €285. Double-edged sword. You know, I wish there was more donations, but you know, I'm thankful I don't have to have a snack yet. The link for donations is in the description below. And with that being said, let's move on to what I have for you in Telegram today. I will warn you, the first video I have for you is a bit of if I can get to it, if I can find it. You know, that's from the Madiar's video, the North Koreans making snow angels yesterday. So this is the first video I have for you today. It gets pretty horrific towards the end. Well, I'll just play it for you.
Ну. Маску, пусть отдельно, да и все.
Telling the North Korean soldiers
И
to
кто
put
все
on a
равно то
mask so
знает,
they're
да.
not recognized. But Russia does not want the North Koreans to be identified so much that they are literally burning the faces off the North Korean troops that have died. That's Russia. That is horrific. The drones from last night, 27 UAVs were shot down, 19 lost in location of a total of 49. 3 were still in the air. So great results from the electronic warfare and the defense forces shooting these things down. And a beautiful sun. Oh, wait, that's not a sunrise. This is ammo depot in Donetsk that got blown up of Russia's. But well, but yeah, if you didn't know better, it looks like a sunrise video until that. This is kind of funny. I hope you guys enjoy this. But the caption is Western values versus traditional values. So Saint Nick, Spider-Man, and a mouse or a rat. the rat is so bad he takes off his head and starts trying to beat Santa with his head. That's worth another watch. Uh, are you saying that this is in Mexico? I can tell you it's not Mexico. Yeah. Just the writing on the sign. So this video is kind of interesting. This is Toretsk again, and Ukrainian demolition crew coming. You see, this is the Russians inside the
Конструкція
building here.
будівлі, її майже неможливо вразити там якимись дальніми засобами. Намагались декілька разів, але результатів майже не було. В перші під'їзди не було доступу до них.
So you see the
І ворог намагався там накопичитись, щоб в подальшому
see the
штурмувати
Ukrainians
наших
coming
хлопців.
out, and the Russians will start moving around inside the building. They just don't move fast enough. So, Christmas presents delivered.
Ніхто не знає, яке
And
в них там
they leave.
озброєння, скільки їх чоловік, і прийнято рішення послати на це завдання розвідників з ТМ-ками, протитанковими мінами, і просто зложити цей будинок разом з ними.
The Ukrainians just giving the Russians the fireworks show of their life. You see on the thermal where the rooms where they're hanging out in. And oh, no more hiding in that building. You know, we talk a lot about the number of assaults. Here's one example of the assaults using those Russian or those Chinese golf carts that China sent to Russia. So 3 wide, I'm guessing, in the cab and in the back. I think that was a mine. One guy out of 6. Oh, there goes another one. Oops, there goes another rubber tree. Yeah, Meteor has great videos. I could show his YouTube channel, but you can go watch him on YouTube. But like the videos I see on Telegram, he has very detailed videos, I'll say that. Hold on, let me back that one up a bit. See the mines? Oh, you see something come in, and that wasn't a mine. I thought that was mines in the road, but you see something come in right here. Take out the front of the vehicle, and it becomes a lowrider with the bouncing front suspension. And Russians decide to do donuts. No. Finally hits the tree and comes to a stop. The Russians bail out of the vehicle and the strikes start coming in. And the drone crews get to work. And the Russians are frantically running around looking for a place to hide. You see the Ukrainian drones are just swarming. You'll see here in a second, one Russian has found himself a little hidey hole to crawl into. And this is the tactic. They send waves, and whoever survives goes and finds a hidey hole. Unfortunately, his was spotted. And they decide, nope, time to go. And they start frantically looking for another place to crawl into, like the rats they are. And just to make sure they can't use that hidey hole, Ukrainians make sure it's well visible. And Azov at work. This is Pokrovsk. They're starting to evacuate the civilians from Pokrovsk.
Ми
Отдельно, он чорнобилець. Руки не, за ним ходять.
Те, що ми бачимо зараз у Покровську, це відрізані комунікації і опалювальний сезон для людей може не розпочатись. Тут вже немає світла, вже немає газу і домівки не будуть отаплюватися. Оскільки є проблема також з вугіллям, то і частні домівки також під ударом. Ми бачимо зараз велику кількість евакуйованих людей саме звідси, тому що вони не знають, як пережити цю зиму.
No, just to reiterate that, Russians are attacking private homes of people in Pokrovsk. As soon as they get in range, they're sending their drones and mortar at private housing, attacking civilians. Just sickening.
Ну, как бы что-то не получилось, как бы что-то мы не доверились, потому что там вот что-то как бы не сильно было чувство и понимание, что это будет хорошо именно тогда. Как бы, не сильно. Как бы больше обращаешь, когда что ощущение внутри.
I don't know if apprehensive is the right word to
Не знаю,
describe
тому
that.
що з кожним днем вони все продвигаються і продвигаються на кілометр, як мінімум. Тобто вже тут вроді осталось там кілометрів 6. Це ми вчора закрито працювали, а сьогодні, може, вже і менше. Хто його знає. Скоро почнуться городські бої. Будемо, не знаю, що далі, як воно покаже. А тут в городі дуже важко.
But of course, the Ukrainian flag is still flying in Pokrovsk. Despite the probably more than 100,000 Russian losses to advance as far as they have in that city. 425th, let me translate this so you guys can read it, conducted stabilized operations in the village of Shevchenko, just southwest of Pokrovsk. Date of this video is approximately December 9th, when the enemy was just trying to gain a foothold in the village. The 425th Skala Brigade is undoubtedly one of the best units on the section, which acts as a fire brigade. This, of course, coming from Deep State. That is the 425th putting in work in the Pokrovsk direction. And I hope you guys hear this and it makes you thirsty. Yeah, I'm sorry for smoking on stream, but I'll live with it. Of course, Deep State is doing a satellite image of towns affected by the Russian invasion. Today they're doing Toretsk. This is the Russian Mir. This is, Mir translates either as Russian world or Russian peace. And you could literally sit there and just count the number of houses that still have a roof. This is what Russia wants for all of Ukraine. And that's all I have for Telegram for right now. Let's see if any. Now we can watch that in a second. This is a tour of the Zaporizhzhia Underground School that Zelensky toured on Saturday.
Така атмосфера, де діти зможуть навчатися і отримувати задоволення від навчання. В цьому класі 16 приміщень буде. 500 дітей в зміну, у 2 зміни 1000 дітей. Наразі в нашій школі 654 дитини. В місті Запоріжжя знаходиться 436 дітей і майже більше 80% вже побували тут у школі. Ми провели екскурсії. Зараз тестуємо це наше приміщення. Попрацювати тут до 5 днів робочих. Ми
дуже подобається діткам. Дітки хочуть спілкуватися вже, хочуть навчатися, бачити друг друга, побачити своїх однокласників. Тільки були по камері, тепер він спілкується з ними. Він дуже радіє цьому, почуває себе в безпеці, не думає, що там десь тривога, десь треба бігти, ще щось.
Well, pretty cool to get to see an inside view of that without Zelensky and all his entourage cluttering the hallways. Even better, the kids get to see a glimpse, at least, of normal life during the war. Anybody else? I can't show those. Madiar has his own Telegram channel, and you see like blurred versions of these videos on YouTube. The drone video of the snow angels. Unfortunately, most of these I can't show because they're very graphic. And I could show the YouTube, I guess, but I don't know. If it's already on YouTube, I think you guys can find it. Going into the air raid map, Chernihiv, 2 hours 6 minutes. Sumy, 6 hours 29 minutes. Poltava, 5 hours 55 minutes. Cherkasky, 2 hours 7 minutes. And Kiev Oblast for 25 minutes. Again, this is a nightly thing. Shahid's just flying around, causing air alerts. So before we hop into the news, I said I'd tell you what's going on with the stomach issues. Yesterday was a busy day for me. Got the link for my fundraiser, had 2-hour-long sessions with English practice with Ukrainians, was on the shills, had my own stream, and all the while I have a underdesk pedaler, and I'm sitting here pedaling and pedaling and pedaling. And I went to get up from my stream last night, and my legs decided, no, I'm not working. I literally stood up, fell on my bed, and just said, screw it, I'm going to sleep. So like the last time I ate last night was, probably 6 o'clock p.m. my time. And of course, after sleeping and after a workout like that, my legs didn't want to work this morning either. So I did not get out of bed and move around until after 4 o'clock. My legs were just on fire, and they still are. So you know what happens to your digestive system when you don't eat for almost 24 hours and then you put food in it? Yeah, that's what's going on. Yeah, I'm sitting here pedaling a lot while I'm streaming. So, like, yes, I'm pedaling right now, and it's not like a very intense pedaling, but literally for 10 hours yesterday while I was at the computer streaming either here or other chats or chatting with the people in Ukraine to help them practice English, chatting with my friends over in Ukraine and Kyiv, and chatting with my friends on Discord. Yeah, I overdid it. Not to say the least. Funny, McPigeon. Oh, I've eaten now. Unfortunately, that was my body going, oh, you ate. We can get rid of the old stuff. So moving on to mass media, popular news, mainstream news, whatever you want to call it. First reported deaths of North Korean soldiers fighting against Ukraine. They're only reporting this an hour ago. The Guardian. Washington Post 1 hour ago. Ukrainian troops say inexperienced North Koreans are making easy targets. Russian paramilitary soldiers killed in friendly fire attack by North Koreans. That puts a smile on my face a little bit. the fact that the lack of coordination is causing issues for Russia is always a good thing. So, again, Yahoo, North Korean soldiers attacked Russian forces by mistake due to the language barrier. And a key thing here, Russia to prepare for war with NATO. Russia must be ready to fight NATO in Europe in the next decade. Now, I've told you, other people have told you, it does not end with Ukraine. If we fail Ukraine, it doesn't stop there. And here is Russian ministers. Russia's defense minister said on Monday that Moscow must be ready to fight NATO military alliance in Europe in the next decade. This is as Putin says he believes the Ukraine war is turning in Moscow's favor. Citing a NATO summit in July, the military doctrines in the U.S. and other NATO members as evidence that Moscow has to prepare for direct conflict with a more assertive NATO in the coming years. And unfortunately, I can't close this thing out to read the rest of it. Yeah, that's Moscow saying in 10 years they're going to be fighting NATO. What does that tell you? I can close that one. I can close that one. CNN reports of course, the headline, they said we were American spies. Priests described Russia's crackdown on evangelicals in occupied Ukraine. Unfortunately, CNN does paywall, so I can't read the whole story for you. But essentially, Christian missionaries to occupied Ukraine are being called American spies, CIA agents, and treated as such. Of course, with the Russian shadow oil tanker fleet breaking up yesterday, Ukraine is calling for sanctions against Russia's oil tankers over the spill. Yes, Russia should have to pay for this cleanup. It is their sneaking around, and you know, I told you back when Russia started doing this, there was going to be a disaster. And here we are. An oil tanker broke up, and you can see the oil spill flowing out of it. I showed you this video yesterday. That's the front of the ship sinking. And the oil is spilling out. It's still the front of the ship.
Ну, передо мной есть замес, нет, не 41 бригада, 239 что ли? Да, все, 141, да.
4,300 tons fuel.
Вот еще минус одна Волгонефть. Повтор Волгонефти 139. Поломала на две части. Еще не полностью, но все к этому идет.
So that's two of the Russian shadow oil fleets that sunk in the last couple days. Yeah, Ukraine accused the Kremlin of recklessness and of violating basic operating rules. But yeah, not only are they killing Ukrainian land soldiers and civilians, they're killing the ecology of the Black Sea. Oh, I did the wrong one. Yeah. So still Russia to prepare for war with NATO. First North Korean deaths. New York Times giving their opinion on 4 scenarios for Ukraine's endgame. Not only because it's behind a paywall, but because I value New York Times opinion as much as I value a Kleenex. Again, a lot of speculation by everybody about what peace will look like for Ukraine. The only one that's really worthwhile to read is from the Kiev or Independent. I hate how this is worded. A resounding victory in the U.S. presidential elections. It wasn't a resounding victory. Trump got less than 50% of the popular vote. He still had the most votes, but it was still under 50%. That's not a resounding victory. That's a narrow victory, in my opinion. Let's see. Let's get into the good stuff. Where do you say the? Okay, scenario 1. Peace with frozen lines and a secure Ukraine. The most positive scenario for ending the war for Kyiv is achieving peace built upon rock-solid safeguards against a repeat invasion, even if without all of its territory for now. In his victory plan presented to world leaders in October, Zelensky spoke of inviting an invitation to NATO and the stationing of long-range missiles in Ukraine as a deterrence. Almost certainly, European nations will have to lead the way, likely bringing non-combat boots on the ground on their own initiative and generally integrating free Ukraine into Europe's security architecture. Not ideal with frozen lines, but probably one of the better scenarios for Ukraine. Ceasefire with frozen lines, no secure Ukraine. Pretty much spells it out. It would freeze the lines and we'd be in the same position in probably 4 to 8 years. Ukraine will be under attack by Russia again shortly. My opinion, okay, but scenario 3, a desperate compromise peace. If Ukraine finds itself in a quickly deteriorating position on the battlefield and not enough hard support from the US or Europe to even secure freezing of the front lines in a desperate effort to stave off total defeat, Kyiv sues for peace. I don't see this happening. I don't see that happening. It is a possibility, but I think this is more likely. No peace. Russia doesn't stop. Both the U.S. and Europe failed to come up with a convincing answer. Why should Russia stop? Okay, let me correct myself here. I think scenario 4 is more likely than scenario 3. But in all probability, scenario 1 or scenario 2 is going to be what happens. Just my opinion. Personally, I'm not a fan of either one, but ultimately it is Ukrainians that need to make the choice in this. Unfortunately, Russia also has a say. A forced say, but still a say nonetheless. The Russia problem. Yeah, probably. Often discussions of various hypothetical peace plans use vague language along the lines of freezing the conflict in the context of whether or not Zelensky is ready to take a difficult step of ceding territory. These ideas are often on display among the actors themselves, with Trump's running mate Vance speaking on a podcast in September suggesting a freeze followed by the creation of a fortified militarized zone, much like North Korea, South Korea, and a declaration of Ukraine's neutrality. Kyiv has objected to a simple freeze of the conflict. On top of the injustice of leaving millions of Ukrainians under occupation, peace without hard security guarantees means, in the words of Zelensky, that our children or our grandchildren will have to fight this fight. I paraphrased a little bit, but that's not an exact quote of Zelensky either, so rarely it's thought given to how difficult even freezing the front line is likely to be when it's currently in a rolling boil. I wouldn't call it a rolling boil. It's not happy, it's not good, but it's not a rolling boil. Yeah, Russia is making gains, but they're relatively minor gains for the number of people they're sacrificing for it. The most important question: under what circumstances Moscow would feel either convinced or compelled to stop advancing and taking more territory it considers its own? When asked about peace negotiations, Putin has repeatedly said that any deal must be based on the realities on the battlefield. Kremlin spokesman ruled out freezing the conflict entirely, adding that it was important for Moscow to achieve its goals. So it's the same information, just realistically, out of those 4 scenarios, this one's probably the best for Ukraine. I fear that this one will be what happens. No security guarantees. Kyiv suing for peace. I don't see that happening. Just my personal opinion on the Ukrainian people will sit there, make Molotovs, and fight on their own, even if there isn't a organized resistance. So I think scenario 4, 1 or 2, not 3. Again, just my opinion, but You know, what's the old saying? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one and they all stink. Mertzy, there's no fence. Have you been to the Canadian border? It's like a little guard shack. You walk up, you show your passport, and thank you. Have a good day. There's no border fence. Well, I guess it depends on where you're at. FIFA apologizes to Ukraine's soccer body for Crimea map error. For those that don't know, FIFA showed a map of Ukraine that did not include Crimea. Got a little awful lot of that. And just making sure everybody that has to go to the bathroom is now running to the bathroom. And we're getting into old news here. So that's it for mainstream media. No movement on my page, but a little bit of movement on the main page. 59,615 euros. Well on our way to meeting the goal by Christmas. Thank you all for making this happen. I appreciate each and every one of you that donates. As you know, governmental support is questionable at best going forward. Donation drives and campaigns like this mean even more going into the future. It doesn't matter if you donate 10 euros or 500 euros. It's everything helps. Like I tell everybody, my favorite Ukrainian saying, Razom doperможемо, together we will win. We have to do it together. And this is an example of it with the Shills, War Translators, Succumus, Rick the Ukrainian, Johnny FD, ATP, Geopolitics, Mercado, Starsky, me, On the Edge, and I still don't know who this is, unfortunately. He's I can't remember his name. He's a UK guy. Unfortunately, I'm not awake when he streams. So, yeah, this is the community coming together to help Ukraine, and this is what it's all about. Together, razon. Keep it up, guys. Thanks for coming to the stream. I'm saved for another day of not having to if you ever need your sinuses cleared, that's the stuff to do it. If my rattling on and my silly gesture doesn't motivate you to donate, hopefully this will. Silicon Curtain, thank you very much, Shelly Winters. I appreciate that. like I said, like I was saying, if I can't convince you, hopefully these guys can.
Hello, we are soldiers and paramedics in the Alpha 2 company in the International Legion for the Defense of Ukraine. We ask for your collaboration for a closed vehicle of quick evacuation since we do not have one at the moment. Because of this, we have unfortunately lost people and wounded people which shouldn't have been in danger. We appreciate your collaboration. Slava Ukraine!
Heroes Slava! And just go back here for a second. This guy inspires me so much. Out there on the front lines with 2 crutches, doing what needs to be done. You know, tip of the hat to you. Well, thank you all for coming. I appreciate supporting the YouTube channel, supporting me, and I especially appreciate you supporting Ukraine. Thank you all. Have a good night and stay safe, everybody.